It was supposed to be an easy job, just another day at work for this crew of thieves. But it wasn't going to be a simple robbery like all the other ones they'd done before. This time things were going to get really complicated because there was one person among the hostages that had a few tricks up their sleeve, and when he revealed himself, it was every man for himself. Let's find out more. 3 armed robbers barged into the First National Bank, sending shivers down everyone's spines. The men were masked up, and no one could see their faces. One of them pulled out a megaphone and shouted, "Everybody down on the ground." As people screamed and scrambled to the floor, the robber ordered everyone to keep their heads down. "Don't try anything funny or you'll get hurt," he warned. People whimpered and obeyed. As the men rummaged through the drawers, grabbing money, phones, and jewelry from customers and employees, they made sure to keep everyone under their watchful eyes. They even bound the employees with zip ties to prevent anyone from escaping. It seemed like just another typical bank robbery. But the robbers hadn't considered that one person was watching them closely, planning his move. The man was Thomas, a former CIA agent. He was enjoying his cup of coffee at the bank when the robbery began. Now he was lying on the floor pretending to be an ordinary citizen, waiting for the right moment to make his move. For him, this was just another day at work. After the robbers stuffed bags with cash and valuables, they started herding everyone towards the exit. "Get moving," one of them barked, pushing people outside the bank. As the group walked out, they saw 2 getaway cars waiting for them. The men divided the hostages between the vehicles, and they drove off, leaving the bank in a cloud of dust. The first car turned right, disappearing around the corner. The second one went straight ahead, heading towards the freeway. And inside the second car, Thomas knew it was now or never. He planned to escape and seek revenge on those men. But he needed a way to turn the tables and have any hope of survival. As the car sped along the freeway, Thomas noticed a man sitting in the front passenger seat. His face was covered in a black mask, but Thomas could see the glint of a gun in his hand. He knew this man was dangerous, and getting past him would be a tough challenge. But he also knew he had to try. Thomas waited patiently, observing his surroundings, looking for an opportunity to strike. Then he saw his chance. When the driver took his eyes off the road for a moment, Thomas lunged forward, tackling the man with the gun. A struggle ensued as both men grappled for the weapon. But Thomas, with his years of training and experience, managed to overpower his opponent, disarming him and holding the gun to his head. "Stay still and don't make any sudden moves," Thomas commanded, his voice firm and steady. The other 2 robbers in the backseat looked on in shock as their accomplice was held at gunpoint. They hadn't expected such a sudden turn of events. Thomas turned to them, his eyes flashing. "Hands up where I can see them," he ordered. The robbers hesitated for a moment, then slowly raised their hands, surrendering without a fight. Thomas knew he had the upper hand and wasn't about to waste it. He ordered the robbers to pull over the car. On the side of the road, he then got out with his gun still raised and approached the driver's side door. "Get out of the car with your hands up," he demanded. The driver slowly opened the door and stepped out, his face pale with fear. Thomas searched the car while keeping an eye on the driver, making sure there were no other weapons inside. He found some bags filled with cash and jewelry and some masks that the robbers had used during the heist. It was evident that these men had planned this meticulously. As Thomas gathered the evidence, he heard sirens in the distance. He knew the police were close by, and that gave him a sense of relief. Soon, he would have backup and wouldn't have to face these criminals alone. Meanwhile, in the other car, the remaining hostages were starting to come to terms with what had just happened. They couldn't believe that they had been robbed and taken hostage, but thankfully no one had been hurt. The police arrived soon after, and the surviving robbers were arrested. The news of the bank robbery and the subsequent capture of the robbers spread quickly. Thomas was hailed as a hero for his bravery and quick thinking. Many people, including the bank employees and customers, reached out to him, thanking him for his help. But Thomas didn't see himself as a hero. He was just doing what he felt was right. He knew that when the chips were down, he had to step up and protect those around him. He was a former CIA agent after all, and his instincts were sharp. In the aftermath of the robbery, the bank offered Thomas a reward for his bravery. They praised him for helping to end the ordeal as quickly and peacefully as possible. But Thomas declined the reward, saying that he didn't do it for the money. He had done it because it was the right thing to do. As the town celebrated its newest hero, Thomas quietly slipped away from the festivities. He didn't like being in the spotlight and preferred to work in the shadows. But everyone at the bank and in the town knew that they owed him one. The incident at the bank had shaken everyone to their core. No one had ever imagined that something like this could happen to them. But it did, and they had to deal with the aftermath. The bank's management worked tirelessly to ensure that the customers and employees received the help they needed to recover from the trauma of the event. Counseling services were provided, and the bank also offered financial assistance to those who had lost money or had their belongings stolen. In the end, the community pulled together and supported each other through the difficult time. The bank robbery had been a terrible experience, but it had also brought the community closer together. For Thomas, the experience was just another day at work. He had faced dangerous criminals before and knew how to handle himself in a crisis. He was a true professional, even if he didn't see himself as one. As he disappeared into the crowd, people whispered his name in admiration. Thomas, the bank robber who took down 3 armed men single-handedly. The legend only grew. And so the tale of the bank job gone wrong became a thing of legend, a story told and retold in the town for years to come. It was a reminder of the day when a seemingly ordinary customer had turned the tables on 3 armed robbers, proving that one man's trash is another man's treasure.